About the life of Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Miller Hemingway was born in 1899 at Oak Park near Chicago, US. At high school, he performed well in English and sports. He had defective vision, so he could not join the armed forces in World War I. He went to Italy as an ambulance driver with the Red Cross. On his return to America, he joined the staff of the Toronto Star. In 1920, he went to Paris as its European correspondent. In 1923, his first book, 3 Stories and 10 Poems, was published. Thereafter, he went to Spain, where he was fascinated with bullfighting. Further, his novel In Our Time was published in 1925. The Sun Also Rises in 1926 and Men Without Women in 1927. Back in America, in Florida, he developed a passion for big game fishing that promoted his tough personal image. After his return to Paris, A Farewell to Arms was published that was later filmed in 1932. Hemingway continued drinking more. In 1932, he went on an African safari, a long hunting trip. In 1940, his novel For Whom the Bell Tolls was a great success. In 1941, he went to China to report on the Sino-Japanese War, and in 1944, in England, he reported on the war in Europe. After the invasion of France by the European forces, he became a regular war correspondent and tried to actively participate in the war. After the war, Hemingway lived mostly in Cuba. The publication of The Old Man and the Sea in 1952 brought him the Pulitzer Prize, and in 1954 the Nobel Prize. In 1954, he faced 2 plane crashes and had to return to Cuba, sick and disturbed. After the revolution in 1959, he went to Ketchum, Idaho, where he suffered mental disorder and further bad health. Disappointed, he shot himself dead in 1961. Hemingway married 4 times and he had 3 sons. His other works include Death in the Afternoon, 1932, Green Hills of Africa, 1935, To Have and Have Not, 1937, The Fifth Column, 1938, Across the River and Into the Trees, 1950, A Movable Feast, 1965. That was Memories of His Paris Years of the 1920s, published after his death.